I have my co-host. He's not available here today, but I really would want you to actually, become a regular guest on the podcast. And, I want you to get as much visibility as you can. One thing I would like to say here is that, so know Karan Singh Magic. You know how he has grown. He picks up some of the famous influencers and he shows them a card trick and he uses that as his content. I think you should do that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the conventional way to do it. But
add your own twist, add your own authentic twist.
Yeah. I would like to figure out if there's something unique, because people have now seen that, and that's also being done around the world. Yes. So that's of course the conventional way to do it. But if I can add my own spin to it, if I can give something else to viewers that they're not even expecting that they wanted it, that's really the goal here. And I'm figuring out things. In the pandemic, it was very difficult to meet people or even interact with them. So magic as an art form didn't work. I was doing a lot of these virtual shows, which is why I already have the setup.
I see.
I was performing for corporates and stuff virtually.
Right.
And I had to figure out ways to actually perform this virtually, because it's very different. The entire art form changed.
I absolutely admire what you are doing. I admire the way that you're, figuring it out, doing it online. And I want you to actually get as much visibility as possible. And, personally, I'll be saying one thing. And this is something that actually hurts me a lot when I say this. So I know a lot of, influencers in the YouTube space, be it finance, be it cultural critics, be it all these. These guys, ask for money whenever they do a podcast. Business guys. These are top level folks. And it hurts me. It hurts me that, there is someone talented out there. There is someone who actually, wants to build a free market of themselves. And that's why, I want everyone to get as much visibility as I can provide them, and just make sure that, they grow. I don't care if I grow. I'm just doing this for myself. Every weekend, I'm just, sitting here talking with folks, and I want them to actually get as much visibility as possible.
I think you'll definitely grow, man. If you keep doing this consistently, there's nothing that can stop you. The only thing is figuring out a business model where, for years, when you're doing this without actually, earning anything from it,
yes.
Where do you actually get the money? Like, that's what Joe also did. Joe Rogan, even though people were watching it for years and years, he wasn't earning that much money from the podcast.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that's the same with magic. Like, I'll tell you my personal dreams of magic. Like, The goal is to be able to do really difficult stunts, something that actually pushes my body and the boundaries of what's been done in magic before. Now, that requires a lot of capital. That's a very big ambition.
Yes.
No magician in India has ever done that or had that kind of an ambition, because most people think it's impossible to do, frankly, with the kind of audience we have, the kind of, the kind of conditions we have of the live performers. It's very difficult to monetize an art form where you're actually pushing your own body. It's not even sustainable, because if you push your body for a lot, first of all, there's physical harm. Yes. Plus, if your body is already, there's a preparation time, and if your body is already, you're resting for 5-6 months because of how far you pushed it, you're not earning anything, plus it's a very limited time period. You can only push it in the next, like, I'm 24 now, I can only do it for the next 15 years maybe, and by 40 it won't be a viable career choice. So I only have the next 10-15 years to be able to do and see how far I can push my body. So
you look mature. I thought you would be older than I am, but in fact you're younger than I am.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
No, and personally, like, I was even younger. I never realized how these last 2 years went away. So I was 22 before I remember. And then these 2 years just went away, and now I'm 24.
Same here.
Those are all of us. So yeah. How old are you?
27. Last week I turned 27.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, man. Happy belated happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot. So, I think we have spoken a lot, and almost we are hitting a 1 hour mark. Is there anything that you...
I am curious about you, how you started this, what's been with the whole journey, what all other people are you interviewing? I can get you in touch with Karan. I am sure he'd love to do an interview with you.
Sure, man. Sure. Yeah. So the thing is, I am an engineering graduate by education. By profession, I got into a career which is more like in the management side of the things, like marketing, sales. Last year, I started dabbling in finance. I have a mentor. He taught me a lot. I still, learn from him a lot. He's a big guy on YouTube. He's a big guy on YouTube. He has got 100,000 followers. And finance, something, just blew my mind. Because the one thing that I love about finance is compounding. Anything in life compounds.
Yeah. And that's very different from compounding of fame. Because the problem with fame is the more famous you get, there's bigger chance of actually losing it all. But with wealth, unless you make very stupid decisions and put all your money in Dogecoin or something, I don't know. There's very little chance of you losing it all. Yeah. So I agree with you on that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I am truly blessed by God that, last year I decided I'm going to restart making content. Actually, my conversation with Prakhar was in 2020 of September.
Oh, okay.
I had a personal tragedy in the month of December 2020, due to which I was not able to, figure out things. Like shit happens. And due to which I stopped. Come 2021, I actually got in touch with Ankur Wariku. He did not ignite a fire in me. He did something with me that actually pissed me off very badly. And through no fault of his own. He is a genuine guy. But what actually happened, that spark was lit. And I thought that, this year I'm going to make it. On my channel, I'm going to make it. And I've been doing this since 2017. So coming back, when I said that, I am an engineering graduate and I transitioned to a more of a management role, marketing, sales and finance eventually in 2020. I was like, यार मेरे को placement नहीं मिलने वाली college में, ठीक है, मेरे पास कोई skill set है ही नहीं as an engineer. But I can make content. I am confident in front of a camera, and let's see कि जो है ना क्या होता है. Let's figure it out. So I started making it, and that time, मतलब 2017 में Bhuvan Bam was blowing up, crazy, right? So I started making all sorts of wines. So I made about 60, 70 wines videos. And some of them are still live on my YouTube, like on my Instagram, not on my YouTube. That was a different channel. It got copyrighted strike and blocked. Wahan pe hua. Then I got a job that was killing my creativity, like killed my creativity entirely. 2 साल तक वो job करी. उसके साथ-साथ, so I am also like passionate about fitness. I thought, what, why not make some kind of a fitness and vlogging kind of a thing? Maybe let's try my hand at that. मैंने 2 साल वो भी करा. Didn't really work out. उसके बाद, and that was up until 2019. 2020, I realized, I have to do something that, is easy for me and I'm going to enjoy a lot. Conversations with people always, teaches me tons of different things. I'm really curious, really, really curious. And something that I'm also trying to get better at is the art of storytelling, the way that you did. Okay. So I hope, I learn from you. I hope you learn from my art of storytelling. Yeah. And that's how this channel, as a podcast and as, my own, it's an extension of myself. Right now, this channel. Who knows in the future what will happen? But there are some exciting projects lined up. I'm really happy that, things are now literally, it's like dominoes are falling in place. That's how I look at it. So maybe, 2 years from now, we will be speaking. And you will be sharing your own story of how dominoes lined up for you. Yeah. I really want that to happen.
Same for you, man. I want that same thing to happen for you. And it's an amazing initiative. And yes, you rightly said that you have a very analytical personality and that suits podcast really well. The only thing is I heard this interview of Beer Biceps and he was saying that it's very difficult for podcasts also to go viral. Unless you're talking about something current, something that's trending around in the world. So maybe what you can also do is talk, I don't know if you've already done this, but maybe talk about the Ukraine-Russia situation with a person and cut that into pieces and, figure something out that like that. And,
so that piece of content has been created. It was created last week only. But it's with my co-host और उसका ना editor काम पे ही नहीं आया हुआ है तब से, तो वो content ही बाहर नहीं आया अभी तक.
People don't realize how difficult editing a podcast and all of these things are, especially watching the entire 1 hour of content again and making it it's a lot of hard work, man. It's not easy. People assume you just switch on the button and start recording. It's not
No, but
that.
it's actually pretty easy. After a while, it becomes easy because,
Yeah.
your personality automatically starts to come up.
Right.
एक बार ही जो है ना सिर्फ शुरुआत करने की जरूरत है, तुम थोड़ा लड़खड़ाओगे. एंड इवन विद माय कॉन्वर्सेशन विद प्रखर, इफ यू हैड सीन दैट, उसमें मैं बहुत ज्यादा बार जो है ना अटका. आई वाज सेइंग अ लॉट ऑफ नॉनसेंस थिंग्स एंड प्रखर कॉल्ड मी आउट ऑन दैट. बट ही सेड, व्हाट, यू मेड मी थिंक एंड आई एंजॉयड दैट. ठीक है. सो द वन थिंग दैट आई हैव टेकन अवे फ्रॉम माय कॉन्वर्सेशन विद प्रखर वाज that don't take yourself too seriously. You don't know what's going to happen. You have only one life. Just make sure you're going to explore every possible opportunity that you're going to get.
Yeah, I think Prakhar did the exact same thing with Anand Gandhi. Like the way you maybe asked a lot of what you felt later on was stupid questions with Prakhar. Prakhar did the same thing when he was asking Anand Gandhi, who's a very big filmmaker. He asked some things that didn't make sense. And Prakhar was just trying to over intellectualize the whole conversation and trying to show how intellectual I am. And Anand just said, no, this is wrong. And so everyone goes through that. And when you're trying to show that I know this and maybe you don't, and that's okay. Like,
no, I'm willing to be a fool. As Jordan Peterson said, you have to accept that you have to be a fool before you become the master. I'm willing to be a fool for the next 5 years and ask questions and keep on asking questions. That's my philosophy right now. That's all that I'm doing.
Amazing. And cut. We could have just cut the podcast here, but I'll give another insight to the viewers who are watching it. You talked about story and